Okay, now let's check the answers. Now, I think this assessment paper may be a little bit difficult for you, but I'm sure all of you should have attempted it, okay, with care and also focused on some more difficult questions. Okay, so shall we start with reading comprehension? Carrier pigeons. Okay, now so pigeons are very wise, clever animals. Okay, they helped us a lot as messengers in the past. Okay, so let's look at the usefulness of pigeons in the past. Okay, the first question. Okay, true, false, not given. Okay, so you should be very familiar with this kind of questions. Okay, all right. Number two, find an expression in paragraph 2 which shows London was about to face a money-related problem. Now, problem is something negative, so let's go back to paragraph 2. All right, this is paragraph 2. Okay, where can you see a negative situation? Okay, or some kind of bad influence of London. All right, money related. Now the second keyword is money related, so it must be related to some financial aspect. Okay, so let's have circle this. A financial panic gripped London. Okay, so the answer is this. A financial panic gripped London. Now, when you are asked some of these questions, okay, this kind of question and expression, okay, so you are recommended to put a pair of quotation marks, all right, to show it is exact wordings from the passage. All right, do not change any of the words. Okay, you see I copy word by word, because if you have changed the wordings, you do not get marks, because the question asks you to identify the phrase or the expressions. If you change the wordings, okay, you change the question requirement already. Okay, question 3. Again, some very short questions on chronological order. Okay, 1, 2, 3. So the answer is 3, 2, 1. Okay, if you're not sure, then you go back to the passage. Now, usually look for some paraphrases. For example, in paragraph 2, okay, in paragraph 2, let's look at here. Okay, now the usual technique of teacher setting this kind of question is usually the teacher may use some similar terms, okay, to test whether you know or not. So let's look at, for example, this one. The value of the bonds soared. So it is quite obvious it is related to which term. Okay, you do not need to repeat this, but I just write it down here for you as a useful reference. Okay, so it corresponds, this highlighted phrase correspond to this. So when you are attempting this kind of sequencing question, okay, you are recommended to look for similar meanings, okay, in the original passage. All right. Question 4. State 3 reasons. Okay, a typo here. State 3 reasons is quite simple. Okay, look at the paragraph or the sentences relating to using carrier pigeons you as carriers in both in both wars. Okay, so the first one, the fastest, most reliable way. Okay, now to send messages is optional here. This is first reason. Second reason, could reach soldiers far behind enemy lines. Okay, and then we still have one more reason, which is this could easily be released from airplanes or ships. Okay, so for this kind of question, you just need to be very careful with the information you get from the passage, and you'll be able to get all the marks. If you have missed out one reason, no mark. We are not giving half marks, okay, in exams. According to paragraph 4, how do people give recognition to capable pigeons? Okay, by this one is relatively easier. By awarding them medals. Okay. Number 6. In what ways do carrier pigeons look different? Okay, they're different in terms of their appearance, of course. Thinner, taller. Okay, now with longer legs here, okay, is optional, right? With big wattle, with a build-up of skin on the beak. Alright? Number 7. Okay? Why do you think the writer says carrier pigeons have earned their place in history in paragraph 7? Now, for this kind of question, okay, it is quite difficult because you need to think for one more step. Okay? Now, this is exact wording. Alright? But you need to find out the reason. Okay? You think of the reason. Okay? You need to deduce. Alright? Alright? So, the answer here is they have been considered very helpful. Or, actually you can use other words. Useful, helpful, right? Or you can even use this as the reason. They have helped people a lot in delivering messages during wartime. Okay, or any other meaningful possible alternatives. Okay, if you're not sure, again, email me and I'm happy to answer your questions. Number 8, alternative title D. Alright, now this is the comprehension part. Okay, so let's look at the conditionals part. Okay, now before the holiday begins, we have already touched on the conditionals. Am I right? So this is a little roundup, I would say, revision, recap of what we have learned. Okay, so let's see if you can get the concept. If you cannot get the concept fully, okay, don't be afraid. Okay, ask me for some extra explanation, and also I can give you some extra worksheets on conditionals. Okay, because your book may have been done already, so it may not be a very good idea for you to repeat the same questions. So if you are really unsure about some items of conditionals, okay, do some or get some new exercise from me. All right, just ask me. The first one, do not have. All right, I will not know. This is quite classic. There's a possibility suggested here. Number 3, if you are not able to find what you want in the shops, you will always find it on the internet. Again, it suggests a possibility here. So we use conditional one, number 1. Okay. Number 5. The answer is had. If I had a high-paying job, I would spend. Now this is type 2. Okay. Now let me write it down for you. This is type 2, and these two type 1. Type 1. Type 1. Alright. And also for number 7 and number 8, type 1. Alright. We'll save do. Okay, now for number 5 and number 6 are a little bit tricky. Okay, but for the others, they're fine. Alright, verb tenses, some usual practice. I hope you can get at least 90% correct. Then you are very good at tenses. Okay, now number 1, are. Number 2, have. Number 3, be discovered. Now this one, some of you may not understood fully the passive voice, so maybe you need to highlight it. This is passive. Alright, and you can go back to my video explaining passive. If you still don't understand the concept, okay, I'm happy to answer. I'm happy to explain it to you. Okay, just email me. Because I just feel like this is a very important concept to understand. If you cannot understand fully the concept, then it is very hard for you to get very high marks in tenses. And there are a lot of expressions or even sentence patterns that you cannot use, okay, if you don't know passive voice. Okay, so now on to number 6. Okay, again, this is passive voice. Okay, passive. Let me write it down for you. Number 6 is also passive. Alright, so let's carry on. Number 7 is. Number 8 are. Number 9 contain. Number 10 be found. Alright, 11 approach. 12 fluctuates. Now fluctuates means, okay, go up and down. Go up and down again a lot. Alright, not very stable. Number 13, inhabiting. 14 have. Number 15 exposed. Okay, again you will see 15, okay, passive. And also number 10 passive. So you see, actually passive voice is heavily used in a lot of, daily situations, in many passages. So you need to really fully understand the concept, okay, before you can get good marks. Okay, make sure you understand this. On to the last part, relative clauses. Now this part is not too difficult, but it will use up a lot of your time. Okay, so if